Welcome to another edition of Set the Trend with my esteemed hosts, co-presenters, Reggie Heavy Stars. How are you, Reg?
Very New Year.
You right? Happy New Year to you, sir.
Yes.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm good. Ready for 2019.
Sure?
Good. Of course, 100%.
That's good. And Michael Eastender, Fontaine. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. 2019.
Did you make money?
All good.
No, all good. That's all good. See, that's good to know that you make money on your thing.
No, your health is more important than your wealth. So let's not keep focusing on money. Health before your wealth.
Health before wealth. So today, you can tell where this is going. Anyway, so today we are proud to officially announce the birth of another podcast. Our sister podcast, our brother podcast that will be starting up very soon. And it's called It's Our House. A podcast that will take an in-depth look at the house and garage scene and discuss never touched on issues. It will discuss legacy. And it will also discuss in which ways the movement, the culture can take advantage of the platform of excellence that has been created by many of the players in the scene today, past and present. I don't think the podcast could have had two better presenters to present that, because today we're going to be interviewing them, but going forward it's their podcast and they'll be having their own guests on the podcast. And as I said, I think the viewers will absolutely take to these guys like they've taken to them anyway, up and down the UK and abroad. The Mayor, CKP, welcome.
Happy New Year. Wonka, thank you very much for having me here to tell our story the way it is. How you doing?
It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And of course, the Godfather Kareem.
Hello everyone. I'm glad to be here. A great project. I watch your stuff. With any luck, we'll do it half as good as you. At least half as good as you, and we'll be all right.
He's got the blushing. Welcome. It's a first in the culture.
Absolutely.
And what the viewers are probably going to want to know is this bit. You're kind of like, I don't want to put my seem to be putting my scene down, but you're kind of that next step up. You've done things that we want to be doing. So you've gone up on that next level in terms of pop music. You've gone up into that next level in terms of more documentaries, more films. More of your DJs have gone on to bigger and broader and better things. So, and there's been documentaries on your scene before. So how different will be your podcast to those documentaries?
Well, a lot of them docs, they focused on the same artists. They were asking the same artists the same questions a lot of time. And the thing is, there are a lot of artists there that haven't been covered. They haven't been like spoken to, and their story has not been told. So we're gonna try and find them artists. Not even try. We are gonna find them artists, and we're gonna tell like their story and
in depth story of how they came to fruition and how they came to work within the scene and how they've been able to grow. But we want to tell the story so that we join the dots for everyone so that they can tell their own story. No one else can't tell your story apart from you. So we're going to get those artists and a collaboration of DJs and MCs within our scene to corroborate those stories and make it a proper documentary.
How important is that for you guys?
That's as important as it is for Set the Trend. You know, our brother, our sister, podcast. We're here to tell a story, the real story. Hashtag real story. We're not talking about the story that you've heard from someone else. That is not actually in the scene. That's not been there to see it for themselves. So that's where I think the difference is going to come in documenting this so that people can see in 20, 30 years' time, do you know what? They can go back over these podcasts and say, oh, so that's where that came from. Oh, that's where MC Creed started. Oh, that's where CKP got to. Oh, that's where they connect with Fifth Avenue and Studio Express and, Funky Jamaican Express. That's what we want to create.
Do you know what? It's funny that you say that because I think joining the dots and just making it your own, so it is your own story. We then go on to the Red Bull Top 20 MCs. Now, that is a good example of someone else creating their own story for you.
That's right.
Yeah,
The
because
narrative.
and for those of you who haven't seen it, I mean, it's an article that came out where Red Bull documented the top 20 UK rappers and MC who changed the game.
That's right.
Yeah, focus on that word.
Change.
20 UK rappers and MCs who changed the game. And amongst those names, you had John O'Leary, you had Peter King from Saxon, Smiley Culture from Saxon, Rodney P, Stevie Hyper D, Tricky, Roots Maneuver, Miss Dynamite, Wiley's there, Rico Dan's there, Dizzy, Mike Skinner, Skinny Man, Kalashnikov, Lisa Mercedes, Kano, Giggs, Akada, JME, Little Sims, Skepta, Lady LaShaw, LD, and Jay Hush. Jay Huss was amongst people who was in that list. Nowhere amongst that list appears you, Queen. Nowhere amongst that list appears you, CKP. Now, people might say, oh yeah, but they would say that they're supposed to be in that. Yeah? But let's focus back down. So, you are the first house and garage MC.
UK garage MC.
Ever.
Yeah.
So before you, there was nobody who was talking the mic.
No. There was no
you
one.
came and changed the game for house and garage, right?
Yeah.
And so his name is not in that Red Bull list.
Yeah,
You see what we're saying?
The thing is, bruv, there are not 20 MCs who changed the game because the game didn't change that many times. Do you understand? There ain't 20 MCs that changed the game. When you look at changing the game, there are more than 20 influential, but who changed the game? There ain't. So that article in itself is not going to work,
So
in my mind.
It's just so you would consider it like when you first saw it. What was your first anticipation of names that you expected to see on that list?
Well, to me, it's like changing the game is either changing the format, changing the way things are done, changing the music, that like type of thing. And out of them 20, I can probably see about 8 or 10 man that in my mind changed it from what it was to something a little bit different. They brought their own spin on it, and a lot of people went with that spin.
Gravitate towards
Because like they don't change the game if nobody's feeling what they're doing or no one ain't trying to emulate it and copy it and rah. So
So you say about 8 to 10? As opposed to 20?
In my mind, okay. I don't think there are 20 man.
But I think we could even take that down to 5.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Change the game.
You're probably right.
And to say change the game, there's a man on there that's not even on that list that changed the game.
And I know you're going to save that for your own podcast.
Absolutely, we will do.
Give us an indication of who that one person may be.
I will like say this, bruv. Yeah, when I started in the thing, bruv, like there was people who were picking up the mic and hosting. There were no rappers.
And this was when? What time frame?
I'm talking, bruv. Look, like all of us are linked, bruv. Yeah. Because when you man were doing your thing, bruv, I was coming to them parties, bruv. Yeah. I'm talking about, we used to go blues party, and they used to play like reggae.
So originally you're a Hackney boy, yes?
No, I was born there, but we moved out to the sticks, bro. We moved out to the sticks, but then all of my peeps are East London. So we used to go blues party all over East London, Hackney, all them areas, bro. Yeah. And like you guys were killing it on that scene. You guys,
can I just
Mystery.
Ask a question? Who was one of your favourite, soul blues dance ravers sounds? What was one of your favourite sounds?
Mystery.
Okay.
I used to go back in them days.
You got PC.
Yeah.
He always gets them.
Yes.
He always gets them.
I don't know, bro. I'm just saying, bro. For me, at the end of the day, we used to go like parties day in, day out. But then acid house raves come out. And I said, you know what, I'm never going to another one of them raves because I'm in there just smoking and drinking, falling asleep in there, yeah? Right at the end of the day, after I had a Buckingham fight and and I went to one house and garage rave and it was like, it just blew my mind. I went, nah, that's it, I'm here. So, I ended up in an acid house rave and we all know that the acid house thing in the late 80s
I see.
was basically the biggest thing on the street. Millions of people all up and down the country were going there. Yeah, but when that got outlawed and banned, because like all of these different musics, your drum and bass style, your hardcore, your trance, your garage, all them things were under one tent in the field.
Yeah.
When they banned them and they became illegal, it all went into clubs, and then it split up into genres, right? And you had your hardcore and your jungle, or your hardcore, and then you had your garage, and the garage that I was going into from the fields to the clubs was a mainly middle-aged white crowd.
Yeah.
It was more, right, the youngsters were more on the hardcore
and the jungle, and the drum and bass
thing, yeah? The people on the garage were more middle-aged and white. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, I've done the labyrinth thing, the four aces, I've done that for a bit. Yeah, oh mate, all them things, bruv, I used to go out for 4 or 5 days on the trot, bruv.
And at this stage, was you on the mic?
No,
or you was just...
I wasn't on the mic, I was just a raver.
Just a raver,
I was a raver, but I loved music. My thing was dancing, bruv. I'd get there and dance all night and sweating, sweat dripping off.
Top off.
So when did you realise you had lyrics?
Bruv, it's a mad thing, bruv. Like,
I think this is the story. It's just the story behind the speaker box.
yeah, the thing is, it's kind of like, it's mad how it happened, because I ended up getting in a little bit of trouble and I had to go missing for a bit, and then while I was away, I was bored, and I was watching like Yo MTV Raps in Canada, bruv, and like I'd just come like from the acid house scene, and I'm watching this thing, and I started writing lyrics, but then when I came back, I had a bag full of lyrics, and I started going to the clubs again, and then I started rapping in people's ears, and then someone went, "Oi, bruv, that sounds all right, and then someone went, "Do you want to come?" Like Lenny D, Unit, not Lenny D Ice, Lenny D, who used to do the Unit 4 raves, yeah, like Dread Lenny, like, and he was doing like a rave at the Brain in Wardour Street, and like invited me down there to do a thing, and I'd done that, and that was my first thing, and that was like probably 1990.
So who invited you on that mic? It was actually him
that was
Lenny
like
D.
He invited me for the first time, mate, and there was a concert, 808 State and Enjoy. 808 State and Enjoy, they were doing a big concert at Wembley, and I got invited to do like the VIP room there, like the Purple Room with this band. So I went there and I done my thing, and from there it kind of snowballed. But that was like 90, and as I said, the crowd was more middle-aged white. There was people like Tommy Mac.
So was that a brethren thing though? So in fact, and you know me, I like to talk about a little money. Because was that the fact that he was telling you, yeah, Reg, just come and hold the mic, or was that the first time you started? Because when you get paid, when you start taking it, it's like you're.
I weren't an MC, bruv. Like I was just somebody who wrote some raps. I wrote some raps, and then I started spitting them over house. There was no pathway for me there, but the guy just said, "Oh mate, like your raps are deep. Come and like go on the mic and just spit." So it weren't me on stage. There was no stage in them days for MCs.
Hosts, but they weren't rappers.
It weren't even hosted.
There was no host.
It was just he liked my lyrics, and he just asked me to come on the mic and rap some lyrics over the top of the music that was playing.
So basically, what you were doing was setting a trend.
Yeah. It was kind of like my thing was, I didn't even want no one to know there was an MC there. It was kind of blending in with the music. When there was like a gap in the music, then I'd come and do a little rap. And then it was
let's chart this. So let's just chart this.
Yeah.
You are the first house, and you've just proved that, yeah? Everybody that's come after you, and we come right up to date to the Stormzy's, to everybody that they've mentioned, Wiley's, the Soul Solids, and everybody else. That was your pathway that you had set. So that's the game that got changed right there for that genre.
I created a path because there weren't a path. And at the end of the day, sometimes we had to put fists up, bro. Because, as I said, this was like a predominantly white, middle-aged scene with, you know, a few younger people in it. And the music was heavy. They were doing events at like Ministry of Sound, at Stringfellas, whatnot. There was people like Tommy Mac doing like black and white. There was people doing like like Ministry, and we were going there, and the music was more US house. It was US house then, like,
Okay, like
Strictly
Chicago
Rhythm.
house sound.
Strictly Rhythm.
Right.
Yeah,
Strictly
Strictly
Rhythm.
Rhythm was the label,
Yeah,
the main
Nervous.
label, bruv. Yeah, yeah.
Nervous.
So it was kind of like they hardly wanted to let black people in them clubs. Yeah, yeah. And I'm in there, and like
That's
they
really strange you say that, because weren't most of the producers of the music
Marshall Jefferson.
Oh yeah, yeah, but we're talking about in America. I'm
right,
talking
okay.
about the England club,
Yeah, yeah.
England club politics in them days.
Right.
You know, bro. That's the
So you're
reason that
struggling
you.
to get into a place that's black music.
Exactly. That's the reason. That's the reason that you guys. No, but that's the reason that you guys were half in clubs and half in blues, because we couldn't get the clubs as black men. We couldn't get them clubs. Yeah, it was the white men
You
that were
couldn't
getting.
get in them clubs.
No, you couldn't get in them.
Couldn't
you
get in.
couldn't, You couldn't hire them clubs. So the thing is, when I started, like, it was kind of like some DJs didn't even want an MC, but a promoter was the one that booked me. So I don't care what you're saying. The promoter booked me.
So I have a job to do, yeah.
So yeah, don't mess about with my thing, bruv. Like, so
Don't mess with my money.
Nah, don't, bruv. So
That's my favourite.
so the end of the day, sometimes, believe me, sometimes I had to threaten a man and like nearly, you know, do someone something. So, but in the end, it worked out, and then I kind of made a little name for myself, and it kind of became synonymous with the growing scene, and the scene, like our boys, like say the black dudes that we knew, a lot of them were putting on these like underground raves, and like a lot of the times they could only get a Sunday. They couldn't get a Friday or a Saturday, and it would be in a bar, it would be in a pub, it would be like anywhere, right? We'd have a rave, and we also had a scene where there was like 50 of us. Some of us were artists and some of us were ravers, and we used to have these mad parties that used to go on for like 4 days. Everyone would chip in, whip round in the middle. People go out and get everything you need.
So what was going on?
And he managed to go on for 4 days as well.
No, listen, but we're going from houses, like say it's your house now, everyone's at your house. We've had the whip round, people have gone out, bought drink, smoke, whatever else anyone needed,
Whatever else.
bought it back.
He wants to take it somewhere, but he doesn't like taking it.
Listen, bro, whatever the congregation in there wanted, whether it was ease, it was cocaine, it was drink, it was smoke, it was anyone who knew someone who could supply it was dipping in the pot, going out to get it and coming back, and then
party
there was
continues.
a party in that house. When the house was rinsed, then we might go to a bar that's open and do it there, and one of our people would be DJing, and the whole crowd would come there, and that became like a little party in itself. And then we'd go to a club, and then the whole crew would go there, and that was basically what kind of made the scene.
It started, like you said,
that core, that like infrastructure of people there.
So, if I was you, well, if I can put myself in your shoes, you've just outlined your case for being a game changer.
100%.
I don't think it's going to be disputed. I'd be pissed that I wasn't on that list.
Bruv, like if I got upset about everything like that, bruv, like I wouldn't sleep and I wouldn't eat. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like people over 30, yeah, a lot of the times would kind of have a clue about what's what and who's who. But I think the people that are doing these articles are probably some 19-year-old student, intern, who's just working for Red Bull or something else, and, you know, they're just online looking.
And isn't this one of the issues, because we were talking about it earlier, this is like, it's like their own, because you can see, no disrespect to some of the artists or anything, but you can see it's like a favour for something, favour thing, why they put it together. Whilst there may be issues around that, but you might say, okay, go on and do your thing. This is one of the reasons why the podcast for you would be so important, I would imagine, is because Red Bull, you can't out-market Red Bull, you can't out-promote
Of course you can't.
Red Bull. So this kind of article goes out there, and everybody thinks,
That's the article. This is it.
and then you kind of written out of history, out of the context, out of what you was there to track and
Whatever you know, the story which he's just explained to you now has not been explained by Red Bull. So that would have been bypassed. This is why we're here to tell this story. The real story. Hashtags real stories. True stories.
Oh, what?
Setting the trend stories.
Our story.
Our story. Yeah?
So how did it come for you two, CKP? So off of the back, so you've been, well, you use a different way in it, because like you're definitely one of ours.
He's another game changer, right? But what I need to say something that leads up to him, because what he done, right? Like I'll show you. As I said, it was like a more of a middle-aged white scene at one stage, yeah. And then the thing is, it was full up of girls. Full of girls. It was like wall-to-wall girls. So all of these guys were over in the drum and bass scene, yeah? Drum and bass scene is probably fights going off,
And full of man.
Yeah, it's full of man. So a lot of them started seeping over, because when garage started to blow up and get more popular now, don't get me wrong, like me, I was cool all them times there, 93, 94, I'm doing like 6 gigs a night, like up and down the country, abroad, whatnot. And then basically we got an influx of people from the jungle scene come over to garage, and with it, MCs came over, because before it was just me for probably three or 4 years, just me alone. Really, there was a couple of guys that hosted, but nobody who had any bars or anything. Right, and then these guys come over, like your DTs, your Blakeys, your Rankins,
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, your CKPs and your Charlies, yeah. And the thing is, remember that when
Hold on a minute,
happened,
just pause right there.
Yeah.
So you kept on the MC side of it. You kept up that pressure. You won for about 3 years.
Yeah.
So what is it that you saw in that?
I've never heard that
Well,
from as in any other scene. I don't, because any other
Just
scene,
one man controlling
not
it.
one man who's doing so much work. One thing. I mean that must have been a
That in
headache
itself.
as well as a blessing in a way.
No, bruv, I was having the
blessing.
time of my life.
In Forest Country Club. Was that basically Chilwell?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going
Forest
out on
Country.
Thursday, coming home Tuesday, bruv. Like every week, I'm doing that, bruv. Just like, and to me, it was kind of like a career, but it was like I was a raver anyway.
But
I
did
was
you look at it as a
partying before
career?
that.
Did
Huh?
you look at it because you were
Yeah.
talking about you was what? You was what? You're in your 30s, in your
What then?
20s? Yeah.
I was 22 then.
22.
Yeah.
So was you looking at it, or was it just a thing like I'm just enjoying myself?
Now the thing is, when I realised I had a talent, because I didn't realise I had a talent, because I'd never been musical in that way.
And you
Right?
didn't have a mentor there. There weren't no mentors there.
No, but
It was you.
not,
Just
yeah,
you.
it was just me.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I've always been able to write. I know that I can write. So when I realised that I had a voice to say something, then I started looking at it as a career, and I was busy and I'm writing and whatnot. But the thing is, there was a big change. There was a big change when jungle people came over. The crowd, the dynamic changed. A lot of brothers came over and sisters came over to the scene. Then the crowds were more mixed. Don't get me wrong, there was always black people in the crowd, but more sparsely.
It was spot them.
More sparsely. But then the scene, it became like a black and white thing, and also the music changed. And the thing is, the hunger there was for something a little bit more hype. And that's where CK comes in. You see me? Yeah. And then
So when you say change the game, I brought a sense of heightened excitement
Energy.
and energy, which for me personally before that wasn't there. You'd have an MC with MC or host for about 5 or 10 minutes, put the mic down and go and jump in the crowd, and particularly man like DT, dance with the girls and so forth. And I was the type of guy like, you know what? Okay, where I'm coming from, it's all about energy and interacting with the crowd. And I'll get on that mic and I'll be on there for a solid couple hours. Lyrics, vibes, energy, interaction. And I think that's what Creed is now referring to as I came along and changed the game for that scene, is where I gave that scene.
Is that when the music turned from that kind of like Chicago House
Yes.
120
Yes.
to you guys speeding up
Yes.
like Matt Jam Lamont.
Yes, bro.
Like that speeding up the
96,
records.
95, 96,
95,
97.
Well, Matt Jam Lamont, he was kind of like one of the like originators. So
Pioneer.
he was playing the US house and making that kind of style of bumpy UK two-step at the beginning, or like foot to the floor. Him and Carl, they were making that from the start. But yeah, there was people like Hermit, who was like speeding
Daniel
it up.
Ward.
Yeah.
Daniel Ward, they were like speeding up that music and creating the speed garage thing.
Underground vibe.
But the thing is, what you have to realise as well is, it was more a DJ-led scene back then. It wasn't an MC-led scene. So people like us, it was kind of like we weren't on stage. We were more
In the
next to the
background.
DJ.
Yeah. Or in the background
We
even.
weren't trying to be all over the thing. We were like, listen, we'll do our thing kind of sparsely, let the music do the talking. When CK came, it was more, no, this is Mr. Ollie Ollie Ollie. You get me? So, so at the end of the day, there was kind of a change there, and he changed the game in that way, because the style that we used to have was more suited for the foot to the floor music. Yeah, the style he's got is more suited for the drum and bassy, two-steppy type thing. And people like me, when the music changed, I had to change. My style, it had to change. Don't get me wrong, I still brought over some lyrics, the ones that worked, but I had to change up and write fresh batches, as you do.
And I suppose for you, it was that reason why you probably felt at home on that kind of beat. You had already been used to sparring before on like the reggae sounds. You was used to par with Levy, General Levy.
Me and Levy used to chat lyrics in his bedroom. This is when we were at school. I sparred with like Dodds from Studio Express, and then met up with Skibbity when Skibbity was nobody. We first started out doing little bits and bobs. So I think I've moved from the blues dance to drum and bass. So I've evolved over the years to where I think I found my niche at that point in time, 1996, in garage.
What made you come to house and garage? Because obviously, was it that the drum and bass had its time for you?
Well, okay. To be fair, drum and bass was, for me, I found a very tight-knit, closed unit. If you weren't known, you weren't getting in. So basically, I'd been trying, for a few years, I'd say 93, 94. I was doing tapes with friends of mine, like I used to go to school with DJ Legal and DJ Maddox. We were doing tapes in our yards every weekend, or just making tapes. And we used to circulate those tapes, and that was jungle. And it got into certain hands, and people were like, "Oh, these guys are good," and so forth and so forth. And every time we go somewhere, just like you, Creed, which I didn't know, I would go to say like Covent Garden in the morning and hear man like Det and 5-0 and Navigator, and I'll be a raving in the crowd. And because I'm a mic man, I'm just chatting lyrics to myself in the crowd. And before you know it, I've got 10, 15 people around me going, "Oh my God, get up there, get up there." You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, it seems like I've got something here. And then those tapes circulated until we started doing little radio shows here, there, and everywhere. But still, trying to get into this jungle thing, I was with Skibber, and he went on to Cool FM, and I was like, well, I'm still trying to get in. You know what I'm saying? The skills are there, but no one didn't know who I was. The opportunities wasn't there for me. I mean, he knew some people, and then he got in and started DJing for MCing for Wild Child, and that's how we started his Cool FM career. And for me, it was like, well, I'm still trying to get in. He tried to give me a bring in, but it just didn't work. Things weren't working at the time. So then I said to myself, all right, you know what? Girls, garage. You know what I'm saying? There's big girls in these places. So I'm like, I've still got the vibe, and that's when I started to kind of put my style of lyrics over the house thing. And so at that time it was Freak FM, which was running the airwaves then in London. We're talking about 95 now, 96. And
Did you have a DJ then?
No, do you know what?
You were DJing with EZ and that.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll get to that because I'm getting to Freak FM now.
Yeah.
But no, CKP.
Yeah, because it's funny because our scene different. Our scene was your DJ was synonymous with your selector. So Fifth Avenue, Studio Express, there one.
No.
Sweet Vibe Hollywood. With your scene,
It's
different,
individual.
innit? It's individual.
We're individuals as opposed to a collective.
Individual DJs and
And
MCs.
MCs, yeah. Individual MCs and DJs.
Before the cruise.
Before the cruise thing. But I'll come to that. So I've got to Freak. Well, we started phoning Freak FM because we wanted to get on there. And you're getting brushed off. Nah, you can't come down here and this and the other. So we're like, listen, we want to come down and do a team. So, 96, managed to get an interview, so to speak. And the person that comes and meets us, I'm coming from West London, stationed somewhere in North London. And I managed to get an interview, and the person that turns up is a guy called Clipper and then DJ EZ. And I'm with my DJ, DJ Maddox, and so we've driven from West London.
Maddox.
But we called him Dexter on the show. So what happened is we've gone to the Freak FM studios now. So now we've been listening to the station for, I don't know, about a year, and you're super excited. Wow, we're actually in this place now. This is Freak FM. The phones are popping off, and I'm like, listen, yeah, I'm feeling this now. So the time is 10 o'clock. We've got another DJ on, and there was some sort of confusion about us playing. So we're like, how can we make us come down here now? You've got a guy who's already here playing. And the guy who was playing, his name was DJ Farid. By the way, is Kenny Grooves. So he's playing. So he's like, no, listen, you can't play on my time. So EZ and Clipper, they're trying to convince him, look, listen, these guys. I didn't know he was from West London at that time, so I was like, listen, look, we're here now. Let us just do a team. So he's like, reluctantly, okay, all right, we'll do a team. So EZ managed to get him to sort it out. So we do a show. By the end of the show, he looked at me and looked at Maddox and said, you know what, do you guys want to come again, do it again next week? Because what we had created was something different. The energy that we had created on this show was absolutely something different.
What was it you were doing?
Well, I was just being me. And if you know what I do, lyrically and interacting with the crowd, it was something new, it was something different. Remember, they'd never heard me on Freak FM. Freak FM have got their own style, yeah, but I've come from West London, something different. I brought something different. I brought that street sound vibe with me and that jungle style with me to their station and giving that a different flavour. And so, like I said, reluctantly, you know, at the beginning, no, you can't play with us, but then by the end of the 2 hours, do you know what? We could do something. Then I find out he's from West London. I said, yeah, we're from West London. Let's collaborate and let's do something. So from then onwards, me, Farid and Dexter, we called ourselves the Vibes In Crew. Because what we created that night was some vibes which had never been seen or heard before on Freak FM 101.8. And Julio and Ramrod, thus four then, gave us a show. The only show that was 4 hours. Because it would be from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Now, once that had happened, I had started to build up, listeners over the weeks. And it got to a stage where Freak in the Manor, that's the station, they will have their own raves. And there will only be probably about 10 guys from the station playing there. Yeah. I'd never get a look in. And I'm like, how come this man like Rankin and Madness and EZ playing and I haven't even got a bring in yet. So I'm like, I'm not going to say that, I'm going to just do my thing. It got to a stage where when their raves are on, let's say people go to a rave, they start getting ready at 10, didn't they? Yeah. By 1 o'clock, you're in the club. We would have people on the radio until 2:30, not going into a club because they wanted to stay and listen to the radio without going into the rave. They would want to stay and listen to us play music. That's me, Farid, and Dexter. Yeah, listen to our show until we're finished. And then we would leave the station and go to the rave. So they'd wait until we're finished before they'd go into a club.
That's like a similar thing to what happened with Rodigan. Remember? Rodigan has got a story, similar thing, where when he did his I think Saturday night show.
It was Saturday night as well, our shows.
Were they basically were complaining because people were listening to the radio before they came out to the club. But that's amazing. I mean, that is some power.
But at the same time, the radio station owners, they took note of that, as well as promoters now started listening to the show. Yeah. And promoters are now phoning the radio owners and saying, who's these guys? We need this guy in the clubs. So then that's when I had a guy called Mickey Zoo from Zoo Experience. He used to look after Bobby and Steve and Rupert and Rob Wallace. Those guys got in contact with me because I was creating such a buzz on the radio with my energy. They was like, you know what? We need this guy in the clubs because you're keeping people out of the clubs we need you to be in those clubs at that time. So that's when I started to get my bookings, and residencies started, like the Gas Club. Excitement at the Gas started. So then that was the first residency for me, and Camden Palace was another residency for me, Lords of the Underground, where my MCing skills from the blues dances took me into that arena, because there was only 2 MCs that would MC for 7 hours.
So that was on Lords of the Underground.
That was Lords of the Underground. He only had 2 MCs, me and MC Rankin, and we were both from Freak FM.
So in essence, you was doing what the grime lot did with their thing 8 and 9 years before.
10 years before them. Way before them.
So Creed,
Yeah.
do you have any pirate radio experience or?
Well, the thing is, I used to do guest shows because my thing was mainly clubs, because obviously I was booked out everywhere. So the thing is, I didn't have time to have a show.
Okay, so you kind of bypassed that.
I didn't have time. The way my thing went, it was straight in clubs.
Straight in the deep end.
Straight in clubs. And the thing is, I wasn't an MC. As I said, I had no MC experience. I didn't start on any sound. I just writ a few lyrics. Next minute, I'm in a club. And so.
But you became an MC.
Yeah, bruv. I had to learn as I was going along.
Self-learned.
Hey, listen, bruv. I'm telling you. No, a lot of it I'm learning. I'm picking up off of these man later on. No, later on. Don't get me wrong. I had lyrics. I had lyrics.
Can I just ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Where did your signature come from? I'd like to know that myself, personally.
Oh, what? What, that thing, yeah.
Please.
Bruv, like.
How did that come about?
Sorry, before you cut it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, Reggie.
No. And before you even speak a minute. And before you even say that, can you do that? I want Creed to mark you out of 10 for yours, because he did an impression of you. Yeah. Because you know everybody tries to do Creed.
Some bass in the microphone.
Let me hear you, Reggie.
We did it, don't do it again.
We give him out of that.
Free?
Just to be clear, you won't be seeing me.
We did it again.
So now, Creed, can you just tell us a story on how that actually came to fruition?
Okay. Like,
Because before, let me stop you. Before you actually tell us the story why, I think I'd gone to Adrenaline Village or somewhere, I think it was Hidden.
Yeah.
And the very first time I heard you, I heard that. And I thought, is that part of the music, house music? Is that? So I was so intrigued in hearing a bit of rhymes and then some music and then that sound. So I said, you know what, let me go and see. So I've gone to the DJ box and, you know, like some inquisitive raver, and I've seen you, long dreads, and the guy on the mic, and then you do it again?
we did it again.
And I said, oh my gosh, this guy's doing that with his mouth. So, wow, this guy is impressive. In fact, this guy's amazing. In fact, when I grow up, I just want to be just like him. So Creed, tell us how that came to fruition.
Now, the thing is, as I said, I was kind of experimenting. You know, when you're at that stage, and you know as artists, when you're at that stage and you're working regular, and you're kind of experimenting with different things just to find your style.
Yeah.
I didn't have a definitive style. I had some raps. I was losing my voice every week. And the thing is, my voice weren't even this deep. It was deep, but it weren't as deep as this. If you listen to my earlier things, you hear, you hear it more that tone, where it's higher. Because it was like Marmite. Some people loved it, some people hated it. But people would think that it was like, are there 2 guys there? There's like a robot type voice, and then there's like, the deep light, is it 2 guys? People used to do it. And the thing is, I used to try and blend it in with the music, because I didn't, as I said, we weren't on stage at them times. We were kind of next to the DJ bit, so I'm just blending in. The best compliment you could say to me was, I never knew it was an MC. I thought it was the record, mate.
That's it, and it's exactly, and that is exactly what I was saying. That is what I saw.
Yeah.
And shall I say, that's what I heard. It sounded like the record, and I had to go and investigate and say, what is this? What is this DJ doing? Or has he got a sound system there with some sound noises and vibrators or reverbs? And then I saw this guy on the mic, blown away.
What's mad is, that before there was like Groove Rider and Moose. And Moose, he used to have one of them like voice
over,
yeah,
voice
voice
boxes,
thing, man.
yes.
He'd say moose, and he'd like
Voice-
reverberate,
like a voice
and,
box.
and it was heavy, and it was heavy, bruv. So the thing is, that definitely like influenced me
Okay.
a little bit but the thing is, obviously, without any technological help.
Okay.
But the thing is, where I was working all the time and I'd lose my voice, I would be booked for gigs and I had to work, yeah? And at the end of the day, I'm getting a mash up, my voice is gone, and I've got to work. So I had to do something for the people when I was there that kind of worked. So that is how I kind of, it started off, we're doing it again, like, we're doing it, and like all these different tones were coming out, and then in the end, when my voice was gone, the smooth voice had gone. All I had was that kind of croaky robot thing, bro. And I had to kind of rock with it, and it kind of came from that.
Okay.
That's how.
Yeah, but you know that
You heard it
everybody.
first.
Yeah, but you know that everybody. It's not only your scene. It captured everybody outside the different scenes as well. Because I remember everybody used to. Well, not everybody, but when you're in the game, you know, like you know when another genre is going on with things, and you're around different people, and you're talking about different genre of music, and you used to hear everybody around try and do that voice.
Can you do it?
Don't try it. Don't try it. You think I'm gonna make you give me a free? That's my credibility. No way. You don't want a free.
If you get more than 3 out of 10, you're right.
You can't have an artist that you admire give you a free. You get me? No.
No, but you're skillful.
No
man.
shade over there.
You've also got your own strapline too.
Yeah, I've come up with a
How
few.
did yours come through?
Well, let's go for the one, because it's interesting. Every time I hear you say it, right, I think, this is pretty right. If I had a penny for every time someone's used Ollie, Ollie, Ollie,
You'd be a millionaire.
I'll be a millionaire.
Without a doubt.
Well, you'd be more than that.
I'll be more than that, to be fair. But you see, I started that probably about 97-ish, 98-ish. It was through a friend of mine, to be fair. Because I was a raver as well at the time. We'd go out to Camden Palace with a guy called Oliver and one of my friends called Mark. And we'd always just be shouting, Oi, and Ollie, and Oi. And, do you know what I'm saying? Because them days, there wasn't that signature, catch line in raves. So everyone would just go, Oi, and I'll be shouting, yeah, Ollie, and where you gone, Ollie? And then I just thought to myself, and as you said, Creed, you know when you're in a rave and you're trying to find things to work with.
Yeah.
And that just came to me, my brethren Oliver. And I shouted him, Oi, Ollie!
Ollie.
Ollie!
Ollie.
And then that's how that worked, and that's how it came for me. And so that's how that came about through my brethren.
started doing that.
Yeah, so I started saying Ollie, 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 and then it immediately got a response, and I'm like, rad, this can work. And I'm the type of MC, like I said, when I came into the game, my mantra is all about crowd reaction and crowd interaction. You've got to interact with the crowd. Partly, for me, a dance is 100%. I'll break that down for you. The MC is 25%. The DJ is 25%. Right? No qualms between that. But the crowd are 50%. They're the ones that make things happen. So you've got to include them in what you're doing to make the dance 100%. So my mantra has always been about involving the crowd. Now I'm one MC, which Creed could verify that, brought that to this game of, doing dancing competitions and
everything.
all those sort of things, getting people involved because they've got to feel like they're part of what's going on because they are. Without the crowd, we're nothing. We're just a couple of guys, regular guys. So yeah, that's how Ollie, Ollie, Ollie came about, and I'll still say it again if I had a pound for every time
So
someone said it around the world.
Now it's time to get some extra points.
Right, here's some extra points.
That's a simple one.
That's
Go on.
an easy one.
He's gonna judge you again. Go on.
Alright, so
You're on the mic.
the
You've got
microphone.
3,000 people in front of you.
in front of me.
Go for it.
Oi, Ollie! Ollie! Ollie!
Hey!
Was that the original?
No, I'll give you a 3. I'll give you a 3.
Gee, I was trying to get you a 5 or a 7.
But you see, when you say that, I don't think there's been any other just call it a punchline.
Okay, punchline,
I don't think there's been any other punchline that is so popular, overused, but not only just you guys, but
Everyone.
Everyone
because
uses it.
I go to any scene, like even the youngers, doing their own little club, doing their own little wine bar. You'll hear an Ollie, Ollie, Ollie out
Even
there.
the Motown gigs.
Listen,
Everyone.
I'll be honest with you. If I knew what I knew then,
You're the painting it.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that. I didn't think anything like that. It was just something I used, and it got crowd reaction, and that's me.
It still does.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying back then it was just a get a little crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Now the very first time I heard someone else say it, I was in Ayia Napa.
Right. Okay.
And another man said it, and I jumped up and said, "Yo, what are you doing?" I said, "Yo."
Pirate.
I did say that, and his name's called Sam Supplier.
Oh, Sam.
He was an MC then, and I was like, "Yo, Sam, what are you doing, bro?" I said, "Where you get that start from? Where you get that start from?" But hey, listen, that's my thing. Yeah, I know. And then after the dance, I cussed him.
Yeah.
I even picked up the mic from him as I took the lyrics. I started a gunning with some lyrics. Yeah, and the whole crowd went mad.
Wow.
And then I put the mic down and went off. And then Blakey must have pulled me to one side and said, "CK, you know what? Don't take it as personal.
Take it as a compliment.
Take it. There you go. That's his words. Take it as a compliment, because you know that you like to interact with the crowd. He's just using it to get crowd reaction, and he got the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
But take it as a compliment. Don't take it as a pirate. And ever since that conversation in Ayia Napa, I've said to myself, you know what? If someone uses it, I'm just going to take a step back and just say, you know what, cool. And I think it's from then that now I don't get mad about hearing it 1,000 times in a dance.
So we have to thank Blakey for...
Yeah, Mr. Blakey, man. Yeah, man. That's my brother.
Yeah,
I mean,
believe, bro.
Yeah, but you would have been fine a lot of people because
yeah, but absolutely, this is it.
because we were using it because obviously our scene is a mashup now
Yeah.
of other genres of music that go
all
on.
types of music,
So obviously like when we play the house and garage and that, obviously there's times that we've bitten a bit of the Mandem style because you're not there obviously, so we can do that.
Get away with it.
To get the interaction. Yeah, exactly, because they know you as well, because they may not, because I think people sometimes think that just because people go house and garage, they just know house and garage music, but they might know Ray Groove, they might know the R&B and hip hop, and that's the same with our scene, that they were familiar with those lyrics, and I think those lyrics, that punchline there is just, whereas Creed, if you hear that, that's something that's from someone masters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's from someone masters that. That's how you know that, I've come here and I've actually created an excellence that is gonna. This is the marker that DJs have got to do now. They've got to create their own kind of excellence.
That's right. Yeah.
You've got yours, and you had that, and we heard that. We use it. I mean,
Okay.
it's used 2-3 nights.
I'll give you another one then. When I started out at Freak with EZ, it was when I say E, you say Z. Yeah. Then everyone started saying, when I say blah blah, you say blah blah. So that's how people used to put their own. That's how that started. Yeah. That's how people started to put their own interpretation on it. It started with when I say E, you say Z. Z, E, Z, and that's how me and EZ started our team together, as MC and DJ. But then everyone else started putting their own spin on it. When I see MC, you say CK, things like that, or whatever the case may be. People started using their own thing. But that's how that started.
So that's another one. You got another one as well.
Yeah.
What's
Okay, so I've got another one. Okay, so there's the dance. So there's the dance. So people, I'll have to explain the dance to you. It's called the composer. It goes like that. A garage dance. Back in the day, we wanted to dance like that. And the reason why people used to dance to that, because I was the composer, standing on stage in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people, conducting. Yeah, like that, with the mic. I'm the doctor, you're the patient, sit back and get your medication. I'm gonna hit you right now with the potion and get your body down in the motion. I'm the doctor.
You're the patient.
You're the patient. Sit back and get your medication, because I'm gonna lick you with the potion and get your body down in the motion. The composer. Yeah, because we'll be doing this. And so that's how that dance came about, when everyone's like doing that, because I'll be on stage going like that.
So where have all these stories been? Sorry, where have all these stories been?
All these stories are locked up in here because there's never been an outlet for me to explain this, or platform to explain these stories properly. # true stories.
Or the thing is, the questions they're asking you do not give you the opportunity to tell them that story.
There you go.
So,
and we're internally grateful here at Set the Trend for us to tell our own story, because this is the real story.
And I'll say one more thing. When CK came, like with his thing, if he had come 2 years before, that style would not have worked.
Right. It was the right time for him.
It wouldn't have worked because the crowd was a different crowd. The crowd was different. But when the crowd changed, they were more open to that style. That style of Performance.
So at that time, all the big promotions were coming on board now.
Sun
Yeah?
City,
Okay, so Sun
Twice as
City.
Nice.
I'm
Underground.
I'm claiming half of Sun City because Trevor used to rave 24/7 on our
With
scene.
us, yeah.
Touch a
Sure,
class.
like
He always used to be out there.
Yeah,
So I'm going to claim half.
Him and Tony Nicks. Him and Tony Nicks. God rest his soul. Him and Tony, yeah, we know. Yeah,
Because of us.
God rest his soul,
Peter,
Peter.
again, yeah, Adrian and them guys, yeah. So, I want your favourite two, out of all them promotions that you played for, give me each your top two.
Wow. It's really hard, bro. So
Very,
hard.
very.
Because I was resident at all of them.
That's a good answer.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. But I tell you, the two raves that, or three, I used to love working at Twice as Nice on a Sunday.
Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Collie, bruv. Collie days. I used to love Gas Club on a Sunday.
Just go back one step, go back to Collie because I
Spread
know
love. Yeah.
you used to, I mean, like, if you could get in there at one time, you get me? Because, because after somebody,
Yeah.
it was
imagine.
early.
Yeah.
What kind of people used to rave to your kind of gigs at those kind of times? So
Everyone, footballers,
David
models,
Beckham was in.
actors,
David Beckham was in
Spice
there.
Girls,
Spice Girls was in there.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Jay-Z was in there.
I brought Jay-Z
Missy
down
Elliott.
there.
Wesley Snipes. Was in there.
Those
Behind
days,
us, bruv.
those days, it were
Behind us
just
with
media
security.
stars, not celebrities. They're just
Everybody that
media.
used to come
In
come
to
along
the UK, yeah.
They used to find out
That was the spot.
because it was bruv, he used to have his own champagne. He used to give us Twice as Nice champagne. When I used to come in every week, he used to give me a bottle of Twice as Nice champagne
And then at
for
one
me to
point
start
they
my
sold
set.
the most ever champagne in the country at some point.
Yeah,
at some point,
easily,
yeah.
bruv, easily.
Yeah.
Because people were going there and just spending out all their month's wages, bro, in one night. That was it.
But you had everybody in there, and not in terms of that as well, but in terms of gangsters,
Yeah,
in terms
of
of
course.
drugs,
Of course.
at that moment,
Yeah.
in that, but being success, that kind of comes. I think people look at it before you understand the whole scene and how it goes. You kind of look at that and you think, well, why drugs in it? But in any scene where it's successful and that, you get drugs, you get
Sex,
welcome
drugs, rock and
people.
roll.
House music. Just remember that the hype, the Class A hyper thing, come from acid house raves with the house music, and it
filtered down.
garage, and garage was house and garage.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, any good party would have drugs
Sex,
as a part of it.
drugs.
As a part of it.
And rock and roll. Sex,
house
drugs,
and
and rock and
garage.
roll.
Nothing's changed
And that's,
to today.
and that's a
Yeah.
fact of it. People
Yeah.
people can they can say what they want, ignore it. But any good party back in them days had that in it. And the thing is, like, you could tell there was a party without it, and people are all like,
Flat.
put that in the party, and everyone's, "Whoa." And that's it, bro.
Everybody's senses have been heightened.
Before, in America, what's his name, the geezer who started it, he used to pump cocaine through the air conditioning to get the crowd hyped.
To get
And
them
how
hyped.
they do that?
What smoke or
The actual cocaine itself,
powder?
the powder.
What powder?
They used to
How'd
pump
you
it
do that?
through the air
What have you got an idea?
I'm thinking, how the ass can you do that without like white snow being in the air?
That is the story that
Yeah.
they said that he
Mad
used
thing.
to-
But at that time, your
Speak
scene.
about it, that's it.
Okay.
But at the time, your scene is becoming powerful. As in, it's probably the only niche scene that has ever created that kind of noise for the whole English industry, isn't it?
CK hasn't said he's.
Oh, right, okay. My two favourite.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like I said, I was probably working for most of them, but I think I'm just going to give one person that, and I think that's the person that gave me the platform to express myself, to the masses. It was Zoo, and it was
Mickey.
working at Camden Palace. He gave me that platform.
And that confidence.
And the confidence. And from that, my career in this business expanded to a level which I didn't even know I could get to.
I'm surprised that
To be
nobody
fair.
said back to 95?
No,
No.
it weren't there.
It wasn't there then.
In 95?
No, it wasn't there.
No,
You see,
it started.
It started in the 2000s.
Back to
Yeah,
95.
it wasn't back there
It
then.
weren't there.
We're
Learn
talking
something new.
about the original. We're talking about
Very embarrassed.
No, don't worry. And we're talking about the originals, and like I said, for
Do
me
you know what?
personally,
I thought the brand Back to 95 actually existed.
no. For me personally,
no.
I would say Lords of the Underground or anything to do on the Mickey Zoo's camp.
Yeah.
Gas and Excitement, Leicester Square. They gave me the platform and the raves, and then that was when I went out and done what I did, you know, as CKP, working with the best DJs that there was then, Ramsey and Fenn, Carl Tough Enough Brown,
Dream
Matt
Team.
Jam Lamont, Dream Team, Mikey B, Timmy Magic Spoonie.
So then I'll bring it back round again.
Yeah.
So at this point, your producers are probably the most sought after Booker T.
Yeah,
He's-
Booker T,
I'm-
yeah,
and I'm going to claim him.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man.
There is. It's an understatement to say that your producers were the most sought after producers on the whole of the UK scene. Yeah, for either doing original tracks
Remix and all
or
that,
remixes.
yeah. Remix and original.
or to do the remixes. At what point did the MCs feel that they could now
Okay.
become an artist?
Okay. With me, I was making music from like '92 with Dominic Spread Love.
Legend.
And the thing is,
How do you mean making music? Was you on it or was you producing it?
No, I was on it. Like, what I'm saying is that like Dominic was producing. I was trying because I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to make tracks. I wanted to do that. But the problem was getting producers because, as I said, this is before the drum and bass man come over to the scene. It was a different setup, and getting producers that would put the MC first. Or put the MC at the forefront was hard. Because remember, they were DJ producers. It was a DJ-led scene. They didn't want the MC to outshine them. They didn't want the MC too loud. They didn't want the MC too loud.
We still don't.
100%.
And the thing is, what happened in the end, the MCs became the artists. So like the MCs were there on stage. So the MCs got more shine than the DJ producers, and the MCs outshined, a lot of the times outshined the producers that were there.
Unintentionally,
And they didn't want that.
unintentionally.
I know we didn't plan it, but at the end of the day, they didn't want that. And the thing is, there was a time that like when Garage blew up, say like around 96, 97, right? Around them times where like we were like in all the clubs, we started trying to make music with me personally, Pied Piper's brother, unknown MC, Comanche Sly from Hijack, yeah, right? Now he was already an artist. He was touring with Ice-T and all that, like doing them things. And he came to like one of our raves and he saw what was going on. And his brother was DJ Pied Piper. Pied Piper wasn't as big as he is now. This is pre-hit Pied Piper.
Yeah.
So Pied Piper was still like working. He was a big
Pied
DJ.
Piper, do you really like it?
Yeah, of course. He was like a big DJ, but he wasn't like, you know, a famous DJ them time. But he said to me, yeah, man, my brother, like, you know, he's in the business and what is it? And he wants to like, to do something. So I'm going, all right, cool, bring him down. So he brought him to like Channel Club. Yeah.
Oh, that's the...
And like I had a chat with Ronnie then, yeah, and basically he was wearing a suit then, I remember, and he said, yeah man, like we got some beats and I want to put a tune together. And he just grabbed me, PSG, obviously there was Piper Unknown and Valerie the singer.
So
and, yeah.
Can we a little bit claim Valerie, because I know Valerie's still
Yeah.
a little bit claim Valerie.
Valerie Maxfield.
Yeah, big up Valerie.
Big up.
Every time.
And like, and the thing is, he gave me this track and he said, I want you on the beginning of it. So I just had to have something on the beginning of the track, and that's basically where we got Good Rhymes from. Good Rhymes was actually the first garage MC track. The first garage track with like an MC on
all
it
MCs on it.
was Good Rhymes. That was the first crew track because it was kind of like we were the first crew in Essence.
And at the time,
Yeah.
funny enough, it's similar to the Streets and MCs track. All of you guys were top of your game
Yeah,
in that
He made sure that he picked. The only
best
one he
of the
left
best.
out was CK. CK should have.
What happened there?
No,
Budget run out.
he should have actually been on that track, really.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he grabbed not DT, he grabbed PSG, he grabbed myself, and obviously himself unknown, and like we've done that. And what I'm saying is look, in them days, we'd make a track, we'd put the track out on a white, and we'd sell 10,000 on the underground.
Yeah, right.
Before we even done nothing, and then basically at that time the record labels were kind of yamming it up, and then
From the stations.
after we'd earned that money, they would
give you
come
another
and give
set
us a
of money.
deal. And they might give us like 50 bags or 100 bags or whatever for a track, and for a track, bro. Of course, mate. Like there was
Things was moving those days.
there was money.
Stupid signings like Z Bias records would get signed up. Heard for about £500,000 and things
Bruv,
like
there
that.
was-
On Positivo.
there was
Daniel
a lot-
Bedingfield and
there
them
was a
man
lot
there
of
getting
business.
big
Yeah.
money for their
There was a-
tunes.
there was a
Money
lot
was-
of business
money was
going
moving.
on, bruv.
A lot of money was
But the
moving.
thing is, you see, there's politics involved as well, because all of us, man, them times when it was blowing up, we were like a little bit older. We weren't like teenagers that they could offer. We all had our own businesses, bruv. We were like, because we'd been in it for a few years. We already had our fingers in loads of
So they
pies.
tried to bypass you.
Exactly. No, it ain't that, bruv. And they had to pay us big money. They had to pay us
Okay,
proper
good,
dosh,
good.
Right?
That's
And
good.
So they probably didn't really like it, and I believe they wanted to take us out.
Yeah.
In the end, right? In the end, they wanted to take us out, mate.
And them cats
You
stuff,
had
mate.
like, what's his name? Nick Raphael.
That's Sony.
Signing a whole load of stuff. I remember there was the whole Sun Shit remix.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
Chunky.
You had Chunky, you had Y Tribe.
Why try?
yeah,
Yeah, there was.
Omar.
Maybe that one, yeah.
Tons of
But
them.
was he-
And
was-
the
was-
Dream Team. What can I forget?
Was he?
There
Was he?
was a
Was he?
lot of money moving within the scene.
How many artists do you think there were on Garage at
Oh
once?
my
There
God.
was like hundreds.
There's hundreds.
Hundreds.
No,
like
to
different-
be fair, at one point it was just garage alone. That is why, you know, Ray has said we were making the biggest noise in the UK.
So everyone was coming.
Everyone
here
was coming over to garage.
for the platform.
to the
Yeah.
platform. From footballers to, I mean,
They
there
were
you
like an
go.
R&B
They
team.
were
They
R&B
were.
team.
Yeah, I remember them.
And they come. And they
I
come
can
to
claim
our
that
club.
one.
They come to our club.
They come to our club. Me and
That's
Norris.
That's R&B girl.
Yeah, me
R&B
and
girls,
me and
yeah.
Norris.
Yeah,
What
What's Garage?
Boston was the remix.
Yeah.
Yes,
There you
but-
go.
The Garage mix.
Yeah.
There you
Me
go.
and Norris were doing Velvet Rooms, right? Opposite the opposite Centre Point.
Centre Point.
Opposite
Tottenham
Centre
Court
Point.
Road.
Astoria.
Yeah.
Next to Astoria. We were doing Velvet Rooms on like a Tuesday night, bro.
that's right, yeah.
And the thing is, it was ramming. It was like the Syndicate. And then the girls came and it was like Mystique. We met them. They were like an R&B troupe. They had a track called Why, and they
That's the
needed a
one?
remix.
That's the one, yeah.
So Norris lined them up with Matt.
Yeah.
With Matt Jam.
With Matt Jam, yeah.
And the rest is history, bro.
Rest is history.
That is it. So that's it.
So go forward a few more years. I mean, I know that producers are on it, but I got to talk to you a bit more. And there's so much stuff that you're going to bring out in your own podcast. But move on 2-3 years now. You talk politics. You talked things going on in the game.
What year we talking? 98, 99, 2000?
Well, you're talking about 97 there, didn't you?
Okay, so say 99, 2000.
97 was when the Dream Team had their own show on,
Yeah.
96,
on
97.
like Radio 1.
So let's talk. So, okay.
So then you've
talking
gone on
too fast.
2 more years, and then some feisty young guys have come along, wanting to get into your circuit. And it would have been your circuit at the time, because that's how I probably would look at it when youths come about and want to get in your circuit. And you feel kind of protected about it. And then they start making a noise, and then you're kind of like, well, what do you guys think you're doing to our circuit? Because maybe it's it's the style that they're bringing, but maybe it's the lyrics that they're bringing.
It was all of that.
Do you think at the time, and I'm talking like the Soul Solids, the Pay As You Go,
Of course.
Heartless Criminals.
do you think at that time, because Mega Man has gone on record as saying at the time that it's time for the man them to
Older
move
guys to
over,
move.
and
The
then the young one was
dinosaurs.
on. But I don't actually think he meant that. I think he was just a young, and he probably talked it the wrong way. You know what I mean? I don't because I've heard him talk respectfully about the man
Oh
them
yeah, come on, bro.
after that. So I think, in hindsight, both ways because
They felt victimised. They felt a bit victimised. They were just trying to come over and express themselves. This was a big platform. They looked around. This was the biggest platform that they could go on. They didn't know the history of it, or they didn't care about history. All they wanted to do was stand up and be seen and heard.
Like you guys, like their hero, because you lot must have been their icons at the time.
The only difference was, remember, we were older. We were like a little bit older, so we knew that we were on kind of shaky ground in the club scene, because if there's trouble in the club, your shit gets shut down. Your stuff can end, right?
And unfortunately for them, what they were bringing into the club was not what was needed. You know, it was too aggressive. What they were bringing, their style was a bit too aggressive for what we were doing.
At the time, it could have been handled better, the conversation that you had with the young guys at the time?
100%, I think it could have.
Definitely. In hindsight, I think the elders should have
sat them down
in a room with them, said, listen lads, at the end of the day,
this
there's
is
enough room for everyone.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you guys, you maybe need to
do
tone
this
down a
or
bit,
tone that down.
Right? In the clubs, don't be chatting like
and effing and blinding. And
when you've got an album and you're doing that, express.
And you got your check. You got your production.
You got production money.
But in the clubs now, just. You understand, express yourself and do your thing.
But keep it on a level.
Did you ever have that chat with...
No, never.
None of us did.
Of course not.
Have you had a chat afterwards with them?
Oh, look, since then, all of us are like brothers. We're still
you're like brothers, but did you chat about the moment? Did you? Okay, and is that one of the moments that you're willing to bring to camera? Is that because that would be an interesting conversation?
Listen, I think that conversation will be had at some point where we can get those guys and we can express to them and really get out what was, you know, the feeling. So, you know, we can talk to people
because
like
I don't think
Trino, Maxwell, Romeo, those guys.
I'm claiming Maxwell because his dad like 90 B's like one of ours.
Don't worry, man. Draw him in.
Draw him in. In that moment, that all that happened because a lot came out of that. You had articles. I'm talking national articles on that. So the Guardian was writing pieces. The Express was writing pieces about the fraction. The friction between the youngers and like the olders. You also did, out of that came the movement where you guys, I think, had your own union.
We had a meeting. No. What it was, bro?
We had a meeting, didn't we?
It was like a meeting because the thing is, we realised that we were all on shaky ground. Because the thing is, the club scene were kind of, you know, the clubs, like certain promotions were getting turned down. Clubs were getting cold feet about putting on garage events. There was a lot of violence that was going on in the clubs. Us as elders, we thought, let's get together and work it out a way to stop this. But a lot of it was kind of misconstrued, and people thought, oh no, it was a meeting to try and keep people out and near it. It wasn't that. But you know, it turned into it. At the end of the day, it ended up a waste of time anyway, bro. Innit?
Yeah, because nothing got sorted out.
Yeah, but should something have been made of it now? Because you then had a plan, because you also was doing your UK Garage Awards ceremony.
Oh, of course. That was us. We were putting on the Garage Awards. Well, listen, bro. Me, Norris the Boss, and Jason K, we put on the UK. That's where the name UKG came from. Because before that, it was called House and Garage. Our scene was the House and Garage scene, or the garage scene. Yeah. But the thing is, like, this was basically like a UK thing. We branded UKG, them 3 letters together, right? And we put on an awards. We had the first one at Brixton Academy. We had the second one at Hammersmith Apollo. We were going to do a third one, I think, at Connaught Rooms, whatnot. But then, with all the stuff in the clubs and basically Garage got blacklisted from every club in the UK. You couldn't put on a garage rave, so then that killed our awards. And we put in.
I was lucky to get one of them. I was lucky enough to get one of them.
What killed it was the whole
tension
and violence thing.
But there was people at one stage where because remember, this is pre-grime scene. There was nowhere for them grimy youths to go except garage. So the thing is, we were getting all the worst
influx.
of it.
We were getting influx of so much different people coming in.
Of all the worst of it. These people were not the original garage crowd. They were not even the second wave of garage crowd. They were kind of like something else that was coming in. They didn't really give a shit about the scene.
Yeah.
They just wanted to, exert their dominance on whoever and rear it, and that led to a lot of incidents happening in the clubs, which led to our scene getting shut down. The scene more or less got shut down 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
More or less got shut.
To you guys' podcast, man, because I'm sure you got some amazing stories.
Absolutely.
But also, do you feel? How do you feel about the success that you've had? That's been nearly fully documented in terms of the success of it. There's a lot of the stuff that you're going to explain, the undercurrent stuff. How do you feel that it's progressed? Do you think that you got out of UK Garage what you actually not only put in, but the way that it just launched? Do you think that it's, it got to where it needed to go, or do you think, I do feel a bit short-changed about this thing actually?
Brother, I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be doing something I love for nearly 30 years. Like, be doing it on a platform and still be
relevant
on a level and relevant.
Current.
I feel blessed for that. At the end of the day, every scene you can think of has that. Every scene, if we go for it, they have a moment where they blow up. Our moment when we blew up was more substantial than most.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
Most
I'm blessed
definitely.
for that. Yeah, we came down, but at the end of the day, now we're healthy. Yeah, like this year we've had.
Wealthy or healthy?
Both.
Bruv, look,
We're both.
I feel wealthy, bruv, yeah? Yeah, at the end of the day, don't ask me what my bank balance is. I feel wealthy, bruv, yeah?
I'll second you with that by saying, I feel blessed that, I can now be written in history to be part of this scene, which was probably one of the biggest in the UK around the millennium, because the millennium was the time when things really were popping off in a new direction. This British sound, UK Garage is dominating the charts, dominating the whole of the UK, even, dominating a little part of Greece, Cyprus.
Yeah.
We had that place on lock.
Yeah.
Guys, our time has run out.
Okay,
we do-
love, man.
But hold on a minute.
Oh, you overrated.
Executive position. I just want to, how funny this whole thing is and how we've come together, because I don't think people are going to really know how maybe pivotal that this moment is in terms of house and garage.
Explain
in
it.
terms of soca, in terms of what we're going to be trying to do with, there's a scene I can't mention. There's two scenes I can't mention, because there's another one that's come up. What we're going to be trying to do to work together, because it's never happened before. This has never happened
Never.
before, ever. I first met you properly in 2000. Do you remember when I met you?
Bruv, like, I can't remember when I met anyone.
All right, cool.
My mum.
We was at that time. I think we was both in the moment of searching for knowledge, and people might think, "I want to try to drive a taxi cab." No, it was the black knowledge at that time in 2000, and we met one of my mentors or people around me, teachers who was teaching me. Was
Minister.
All right.
Minister Rebel.
You remember?
Yeah,
okay,
bruv.
you
Yeah,
remember?
bruv. Yeah.
And we met around them and we was talking about black knowledge and about empowerment and about how we could move forward us as a culture and everything else. That's the first time I met him, which was in a completely different atmosphere and scene to what we was in. Forward 18 years and look where we are now. And it's so funny.
Crazy.
Blessed, brother.
But blessed at the same time.
Yeah, actually it is. So we look forward to your podcast. We look forward to you talking about more in-depth stories. We look forward to some of the icons of house and garage appearing on your show with you, which will be coming out. Hopefully, well, it will be coming out in the next few weeks, month. You'll be starting your own thing. It's called It's Our House.
It's Our House. That's right.
And I don't. It's just a pleasure to do it.
Flow, man.
Time just flow.
Let's
It's
go.
receiver moment.
No, but you got free, man. You got some work to do, man. You got some work to do.
Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure to be here. For
CKP, no, it's actually been a pleasure. And you, I mean, I've only really we've been known of each other for
Within
how
the
many
last couple of years.
Yeah,
Really.
and the vibes that these guys have, you know what I mean?
The journey has just begun.
Yeah, they embraced it. Like when I said, is that something that you'd be interested? embraced it straight
Yeah,
away
man.
and saw the vision.
How could you not see a vision like this where you want to document your own story being told by you? Not by a narrator.
Innovators though, right here, right
Well,
now.
okay, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Like,
We were there.
But know about the whole, say easy sense.
Yeah, that's how that started.
Wow, okay.
That's how it started, man. We set trend, we don't follow trend.
Oh.
Set trend, we don't follow trend. That's how the style we come to recommend. Run up the tango, call the girlfriend, cause I run down tongue, go tell your boyfriend, say, set trend, we don't follow trend. That's
I'll give you a 10 for
I'll
that.
CKP and Creed.
Thank you very much for Set the Trend.
It's been an honour.
Blessing.
Yeah?
See you at the next podcast. See you at the next Set the Trend. See you at the next It's Our House.
Oh,
I'm C to the K to the P, the mayor has spoken. Godfather,
I'm MC Creed. It's been an honor and a pleasure. See you soon.
pow.
I don't. You know what?
How'd you follow that?
Every podcast just gets better and better, and I feel honoured that we've had time to interview these guys from another scene, from a sister scene. I think we should speak it as it is. It should be another scene. It's a sister scene because there's a lot of brotherly and sisterly and cousinly interaction between
It's just a scene,
between
man.
all
It's
of
just a
between
scene.
all of
It's
between
a
all of
UK
the-
team.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a fantastic moment in my interviewing life. For one, I think this has been one of my most
Sound like Paxman for a second.
not the bank balance though. So thanks, and we'll see you. Sorry, they can get you guys because they're gonna want to hit you guys up. You're on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, bro. On Instagram, on Twitter, I'm at MC Creed Music. On Facebook, I'm MC Creed. You find me.
On Instagram, I'm CKP the Mayor. On Facebook, I'm CKP or MCCKP or CKP the Mayor, any which one of those. And on Twitter, the same CKP the Mayor or the Mayor CKP, any which one of them. Just make sure you put Mayor in there. Just make sure you put CKP in there, you'll find it.
And you'll find it.
Simple things.
And you'll also go onto his page where he takes fantastic pictures of the underground
CK
scene.
Cam.
I'm just saying the underground. I'm talking about London underground.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so you'll probably see his pictures of that, which actually do fascinate me because you see London Underground in a different life in the nighttime when there's nobody about. So if you didn't know that he does that, that's another one that he does.
Our sponsors.
Our sponsors, Escapism 360, World Mag, Punchline, the Cool Caribbean Juice, and also the Windrush Bar, and also Chris LTV. LTV?
LVTV.
He was going to change it.
I'm sure he's going to shout it out.
LTV. It was just going to be.
But yes, thanks a lot. We'll see you on another edition of Set the Trend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.